Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Texas Motor Speedway for round number 3 in the Pure Speed Elite Series. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. This Pure Speed Elite Series is well on its way right now with the first race in Daytona that we saw 2 weeks ago. And we had a race last week, and this time it is the Texas Motor Speedway where speeds are high and it's going to be fast and furious. Today kicks off the first race in October, and the league recognizes the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and a lot of drivers you will see on the track that have their numbers painted pink or otherwise adjusted their liveries on their car to show that they're concerned about the breast cancer and that they're aware of it and that they want to help out as much as they can. Even if it's not all that much, it's still a little bit, and all the awareness we can gain is going to be benefiting both the patients and the professionals in the medical world that are helping these patients out. So a great initiative from the Pure Speed Elite Series organizers, and we salute them for that. We are in the final minutes of the practice ticking away here, and let's bring up the standings in the league. After 3 rounds, we see Austin Reedy leading the pack with 82 points, but as you can tell, it is a close-knit battle up there. Jaden Gimbel is only 1 point behind him. Patrick Stein is only 2 points behind Gimbel. Then it's Holzer, Joyner, Werner, Redinger, Cade Gimbel, and Debbie Hutchins, and the top 10 is being rounded out by Robert Kinn. And as you can tell, the points are still extremely close. We have a great group of drivers, some very good drivers in this series, very consistent. I can tell you, I've been watching practice here on this track, the Texas Motor Speedway, and there were a few drivers that just amazed me by how they were drifting, literally drifting and smoking the tires at over 170 miles an hour here, coming off of turn 2. It looks like some of the drivers had a little bit of issues with loose cars, but I've seen a few, and I'm not kidding you, I've seen a few guys saving those loose cars from going into the wall and just making it through that turn, drifting like they were just going 40 miles an hour. And that is amazing. I can tell you from my own experience, although I'm not a regular NASCAR kind of driver, this is not easy. There you have the number 3 doing that exact same, and although he's not quite saving it, I can tell you it is not easy. If you have to catch a car at those kind of speeds, you have to be lightning fast on your reflexes. So let's take a look at the track and the information for round number 3 of the Pure Speed Elite Series. The Texas Motor Speedway is a 1.5 mile D-shaped oval, as you can tell from the track map there. The race is taking place in the simulated time of afternoon, and that means we have a 72 degree Fahrenheit temperature, 55% relative humidity, a cloudy sky, and no winds to speak of. The track temperature is only 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which makes for a fairly cool track, and that made it a little bit surprising to me that so many of these drivers were struggling with loose cars, because generally speaking, a cool track gives you a little bit more grip because the oil and the grease and the rubber on the track are not becoming as greasy as they would on a very hot track. So there you have your information on the track itself, the statistics of the race, and we are just heading into the qualifying session here. It is individual qualifying for the drivers. We have 23 drivers. We actually have 24 drivers on the roster here tonight, which is a great crowd. We have one new driver that we have seen in another series that we broadcasted as Short Shift Broadcasting. A new driver that is Hank Caston. He will be debuting here in the Pure Speed Elite Series tonight. So first one out we're seeing on the track is Nathaniel Mon in the number 29 Budweiser car. And he is on his outlap, and so far nobody has set a time just yet. And let's see if we can stick with Nathaniel here and see what his first lap is, and we'll look at that as the benchmarks that the others are going to have to go for. And Nathaniel Mann is completing his first timed lap here, and it looks like he is running a 29.18, and he's already being pushed down the order there. As you can see, it is Kyle Benson. Oh, there, Kyle has a major issue at the start of his second lap in the Wrangler car, and that is going to ruin his second lap, and that means that the 28.915 that he's put down there, that's going to have to be it for him. It is Greg Olnick in the number 84 car that is just finishing up, and he is, it looks like Gregory Joyner in the number 3 Bud car is pushing himself past Benson into the provisional pole with a 28.82. 817 to be exact. We have Brian Snare having an issue here. He seems to be... he gets loose and then overcorrects it and hits the wall. And as you can tell, it's not the first time we see guys do this. It seems to be that some of these setups are a little bit loose. Brandon Gillis has finished his attempt, and he has put in a 28.984, and that currently puts him on the 7th. Ryan Steenbacher pushes himself in the 5th position there, and Kenneth Redinger. There we have Kenneth in the pink Hooters car. As said, a lot of drivers and teams have updated their liveries for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, and Kenneth Redinger is definitely one of the prominent ones. He puts the 24 on the provisional pole. Let's see what else we have. Brad Herman here. He is currently in 4th. Cade Gimbel is currently in the 11th spot, and he is still working on his second lap. And he pushes himself into the 4th position, and we see the newcomer Hank Caston that we have seen in the Coast to Coast series on Wednesdays this past season. Hank Caston, new to the Pure Elite Speed series. Let's give him a little bit of airtime on the replay. Hank Caston in the 36 car. His number doesn't match the scoring number, but that's okay. We'll make do with that. Hank Caston puts it on the provisional pole, and we know Hank is a quick driver from that other series. So here we have James Holzer, one of he's actually in 4th position in the standings, and he is out on track trying to get his qualifying effort in. We still haven't seen, and the 42, there you see it. I can tell you folks, that is skill. That is just pure skill. Being able to catch a car like that is so hard. We still haven't seen a time from James, however. He's going to have to try again. And time is ticking away, James, so he needs to get going. There's quite a few drivers that haven't posted a time yet. Jake Rowell, Tyler Werner, Debbie Hutchins, the only lady in the field, Kenneth Bradstock, and Jaden Gimbel are also not yet on the time scoring board here in qualifying, and I'm guessing they're just going to have to be satisfied with starting in the back because time is ticking away. The final 5 seconds, that will do it for qualifying, folks, and we're going to get started on the race here. And that'll bring us to the grid, obviously, and we're going to see a newcomer, Hank Caston, on the pole position. Alongside him, Kenneth Redinger. Kenneth is 7th in the championship. On the second row, we see Gregory Joyner and Cade Gimbel. On the third row, it's Brad Herman and Austin Reedy. Austin Reedy, your championship leader. On the 4th row, we have Kyle Benson and Greg Olnick. Then on the 5th row, it's Ryan Steenbuckers and Brian Snare. And on the 6th row, we have Brandon Gillis and Nathaniel Mann. On the 7th row, we have Justin Parham and Chandler Hayden. On the 8th row, it is Jerry Isaacs with Richard Rico alongside him. Then it is Robert Kinn and Patrick Stein on the 9th row. Robert Ballard Jr. and James Holzer on the 10th row. On the 11th row, we see Tyler Werner and Debbie Hutchins. And on the 12th and final row, we see Jaden Gimbel and Kenneth Bradstock. A little surprising there for Jaden Gimbel. He is second in the championship. He did not get a qualifying time in, and I'm not really sure if that's voluntarily or not, but it is a little peculiar. We would have expected him to qualify a little bit further to the front. We are waiting for a few drivers to grid up. Ryan Steenbuckers and Jake Roll have not yet gridded up. Hank Kasten, your leader there on the pole position, getting ready, and as the final two drivers will grid up, we'll be going around the track once and get the green flag to get this show on the road. We have 150 laps to go tonight, and we have 2 fast repairs for each driver at their disposal. If they have some damage that they sustain, they can twice have a pit stop with quick repair, meaning that all the damage on the sheet metal and the suspensions and stuff like that will be instantly repaired. The quick repair does not apply to the tire change and the fueling. And it looks like we have everybody on the grid except for Jake Roll, the 25th driver, actually. So we have 24 drivers rolling off on the track here. There you see the order. The top 20 of your drivers is on your screen on the left there, with Hank Kasten, new driver in the series, leading the pack. And the cars are already lining them up here, coming down turn 2 and onto the backstretch. And we'll keep an eye out for what those guys are doing setup-wise, because as said, some of them were a little bit loose. There is 150 laps to go. There is plenty of time to get it right, but there is also plenty of opportunity to get it wrong, obviously. And fortunately, they don't have a tire limit, and they don't have any fuel limits, so they'll run regular percentage of fuel, and they can use all the tires they want. The pit speed is only 45 miles an hour, and here at the Texas Motor Speedway, as you can tell, the banking is fairly high. You want to keep that car away from that white line, because that'll definitely throw you around in a way that you are it'll be very hard to save that.
Green flag.
All right, we hear the radio call. The green flag has dropped for the 3rd round in the Pure Speed Elite Series here at the Texas Motor Speedway, and it is Hank Kasten holding off Kenneth Redinger. Of going into turn 1, they're still side by side, both rows of cars coming down here. Hank Kasten pulling away about a car length. On the inside, we see Gregory Joyner already challenging Redinger there for 2nd place. Then it's Brad Herman and Kate Gimbel. Kyle Benson is there. You can see some of the pink numbers on these cars. A lot of drivers that have chosen to recognize the Breast Cancer Awareness Month here, try to do their little bit. And the field is, there we see Kenneth Redinger challenging Hank Kasten there now on the inside. And going into turn 3, it looks like Kenneth is taking away the lead from Hank Kasten. Right behind Kasten, it's Joyner in the red car there, the number 3, and then it's Kyle Benson in the 76 car, the yellow and blue car. He is currently in 4th position. We see Justin Parham in the 9 car running the quickest lap of the race so far. He is obviously in the draft. We see him almost lose it, and there is trouble in the back. There is trouble in the back. Not really sure that is not the issue. Hutchins is having trouble avoiding the wreckage here. And let me see. It is, I believe, the the 28 of Gillis that was the initiator of what was happening. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Let's take a look at that. The 28 here coming off the turn, and he gets loose. He bounces off the inside wall, off the outside wall, and then there's a lot of other drivers that have a lot of trouble avoiding that. Debbie Hutchinson does a good job avoiding the first car in front of her, but then she gets it sideways and she can't hold on to it. Tough luck for Debbie. And tough luck for the number 28. We see some more drivers in trouble there. I believe Jerry Isaacs also. Let's see what happened to Jerry. He is coming on to the issue. It's already, and he cannot avoid the bouncing car. He loses his front end. So tough start for Jerry Isaacs there as well. And he looks like he has taken that faster pair really quickly. Greg Olnick coming down pit road. James Holzer down pit road into 42 car there. And a lot of other drivers coming down pit road. We see Tyler Werner into 33. Doesn't look like he has much damage. Richard Rico coming down pit road. Jaden Gimbel in his beautiful number 12 pink livery here. Jerry Isaacs is already out of the pits. Debbie Hutchins she has also taken that faster pair. It looks like she's back on her way. Good for her. And Brandon Gillis in the number 28 car. He looks like he has taken a tow and he's got to wait on that tow to expire. 5 laps in of 150, and it looks like Hank Aston has started his first race pretty strong. He is leading the pack in front of Gregory Joyner, Kenneth Redinger, and Kyle Benson. Benson there in the 76 car, pink number on the top, a blue and yellow livery. Ryan Steenbacher's in the number 13 car. The number's not that legible, but it is there, I can tell you. Maybe we can get him up a little bit closer. And he's being followed by Brett Herman and Brian Snare. And let's go check further down the field. Our second place championship runner, Jaden Gimbel, is now in 18th position. And let me see, the championship leader, the number 11 car of Austin Reedy, he is currently running in the 9th position, right behind Justin Parham. They're already lining them up. That means that the lights on the Mustang are out. They are indeed. And we're going to go racing once again. Starting when we're heading into lap 7 of 150, we're going to go green flag racing once again. And to take a quick look further back, the 4th place championship driver is James Holzer, and we saw him going down pit road. He is now running in 20th position. And let me see there. It looks like Brandon Gillis is still in the pit. And he might be calling it a night because he should be able to use that faster pair after the first incident. And he has so. There he is. Evidently, he had a long wait on that tow. But it looks like he is getting ready to go back out. There he goes. So Brandon Gillis gets to join the field once again. Unfortunately, he has lost 2 laps. And unfortunately, Debbie Hutchins has also lost a lap. There we're coming down into this tri-oval. It is Hank Aston that is on the gas early and pulling away a couple of car lengths from Joyner and Redinger there. Redinger taking over second position as we go into turn 1, and it looks like Joyner is also having to let Benson go by as he runs a little high there. And right behind him it's Brad Herman that's already pushing up to come to his inside as well. Benson and Herman have both passed Joyner, so Joyner on that outside line is having a little trouble keeping the speed up. Ryan Steenbachers is now right behind him. And it looks like the field has stretched open a little bit better than after the first start. Joyner now in front of Steenbachers. It is still Hank Aston in the front. Redinger and Benson duking it out for second place, and it looks like Benson's picking that up. Redinger on the outside. It is now Herman behind him in 4th and Joyner in 5th. Herman coming towards Redinger as well. It looks like that higher side. Oh no! You could see that coming. And it looks like Redinger actually saved it. We're not going yellow. This is amazing stuff, folks. Let's take a look at that again. He is on the outside there of the 76. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was Herman in the 85 that he touched, and he saves it from going around. Unbelievable. He drops back to, I believe it is 11th or 12th position, and he's still running. There you have him. When we're going back live, he is running in 11th position. Tough call for Redinger there, but luckily he got away with it. Benson, meanwhile, takes over the lead from Hank Caston. This is going to be a tough night for everybody. Look at that. Benson taking the lead from Hank Caston and a whole bunch of cars. The Justin Parham worked his way up to 3rd position in that number 9 car, taking it away from Joyner. Herman and Steenbacher's there. They're going side by side in pursuit of the leader. And Hank Caston is to pick that lead back up. Looks like there was a bit of a touch with Benson. I'm not sure if there was, but it kind of looked like it because Benson was slowing down on that higher side. Hank Caston back in the lead with Parham and Joyner and Benson, Steenbacher, Snare, Herman, Reedy. Reedy already in 8th position. We see Parham defending there from the number 3 Joyner. And as said, you want to be careful not to get those wheels on the yellow, on that white line into banking, because that is going to upset your car pretty quickly, and it'll be almost impossible to get it back. Let's ride along with Justin Parham, or I'm sorry, this is Hank Caston, this is Parham. And he's being overtaken by Benson. Ooh, that is almost going bad. Very close together. Parham hanging on. Benson on the inside. Oh boy!
Caution, yellow flag.
The 9 saves it from going around, and then it's the 11 of Reedy that loses it in the aftermath of that spin. Let's bring that back for you. The 11 and the 43 touch. The 4, oh, no, I'm sorry, it's the 9. And the 11 just spins around trying to avoid the whole accident. So let's bring that back one more time. The 76 and the 9. I misspoke on that. That is the 76 and the 9 that touch. The 9 thinks he's clear. The 76 actually washes up a little bit. And the 11 tries to avoid running into the car that is suddenly slowing in front of him and turns it around. So let's check back on Austin Reedy. We have gone yellow, so that's good news for Reedy. He'll be able to go down pit road and get that car fixed. As said, we have 2 fast repairs. It's just a bit of a shame that you have to use those this early in the race. I'm not sure if Reedy had an earlier issue. He might still have all of them left. It looks like Caston, Joyner, Steenbachers, and Parham are also diving into pit road. Kyle Benson staying out in the 76, meaning he picks up the lead. So let's check on Reedy and see if he gets that car fixed up here. I'm sure the other guys are just topping it off and getting some tires on those cars. As said, they can use all the tires they want. There you have Reedy in his pit stall. Oop, he's got a correct. Yeah, he took that fast repair. He'll be in pretty good shape. It's not going to cost him that much. That means Debbie Hutchins is probably going to bring her car back onto the lead lap. Looks like she already had that wave around. That is good news for Debbie. And behind her we have Hayden and Gillis that are still behind the pace car, but they'll be waved around before we go back to green flag racing, obviously. They are 2 laps down, so they won't be back on the lead lap. Drivers are rejoining the race. This is Tyler Werner in 20th position. Rico is still on pit road. Kenneth Bradstock going back out. And Tyler Werner there catching back up with the field. It is Kyle Benson that now, it looks like he decides to go into the pits after all, and that is kind of a wasted lap he did there, because it's going to cost him a lot of track position. He's going to be picking up, he's going to be at the end of the entire pack when he comes back out. When you have large fields like this, you really want to go into pit road when everybody else does it. That way you don't lose all that track position. So that's a bit of a bad call here for the 76. So who do we have in front? It is Jerry Isaacs. He pitted last on lap 3 when the first incident happened, and he did not pit on the lap 15 or 16. So he is now picking up the lead, and he is running in front of Hank Kasten. Ryan Steenbakkers is in third. Gregory Joyner is in in fourth, and then Justin Parham in fifth. Hutchins is back on the lead lap, having pitted also, I believe. Yes, indeed. So she's in good shape, catching up to the field once again. And there we have Jerry Isaacs doing the same thing as the 76. And just for your reference, the 76 of Kyle Benson is now running in 20th position. And that would not have been the case had he pitted on the same at the same moment as the other leaders did. And this is going to be true for Jerry Isaacs as well, and it obviously brings Hank Kasten back into the lead. Alongside him will be Ryan Steenbakkers in the number 13 car, and on the second row it'll be Gregory Joyner in the 3 and Justin Parham in the 9. The field is nicely lined up. We see in the background, we see the yellow car of Debbie Hutchins catching up, then Jerry Isaacs catching up. Good group of drivers here. 24 cars starting the race. That's what makes NASCAR racing fun, big fields. And we'll see the pace car heading in here pretty shortly. And it'll be up to Hank Kasten to get the show back on the road, going into lap 19 of 150. There goes Hank. He's on the gas early. He can do that. That is his call to make. It is Ryan Steenbakkers that holds on to second position with Gregory Joyner, Justin Parham, and right there behind him. And behind Parham, it's Austin Reedy, the championship leader. He is already in 5th position now. Look at him come. There he is. He's on the inside of Parham, and he wants more. He's going to take that 4th position from the number 9. Coming down the back stretch, the front stretch, side by side. The 11 of Reedy. Steenbakkers, meanwhile, takes over the lead from Kasten. As you can tell, the draft is very important around here. They're gaining a lot of speed being in somebody's draft. Hank Kasten coming back up again. This is going to be switching positions all race long, folks. Looks like Reedy had a little bit of an issue somewhere because he has dropped back a few positions. He's now in 7th. He's dropping to the tail end of this group. And it wouldn't actually surprise me if he was shoved up a little bit. And then again, he might also be thinking, you know what, I'm going to save my tires for the final part of the race. It is obviously we don't know how long the green stints are going to last. There is no point in racing this hard this early, and that is often a call that a lot of drivers have trouble making. Your nature is to go as fast as you can and to be the leader. That's what you want. Oh, the 9 almost loses it. You could see the 9 stepping out on the back there a little bit. 3 wide, folks, into the turn. Ooh, the 3 getting underneath that white line. You have to be so careful with that. The 9 drops back to 4th, and the 43 of Brian Snare is working his way to the front here. He's now in 3rd position. Reedy has dropped back to 8th. There we see Steenbacher's coming alongside Kasten once again for the lead. It looks like Ryan is taking up that lead, and the 43 is coming along with him in the draft there, with the 9 there as well. Kasten now being locked out on the higher side. It looks like the 9 is a little bit loose. You can see him waving around a little bit in the turbulence. That is Justin Parham in that black car there on the right side in front of the Bud car. That is Justin Parham, and it looks like he is struggling a little bit. We see a driver coming back out of the pits. Not sure who that was, but it looked like Jerry Isaacs. Steenbacher's holding on to that lead now, and Kasten dropping to 4th. He is having Gregory Joyner to deal with right now. And then behind Kasten, it is Kenneth Redinger that is also working his way back to the front. This is fast and furious racing right here in Texas Motor Speedway, round number 3 of the championship. The series is still young, but it's heating up already. Joyner now in 4th position, holding off. Steenbacher's holding on to the lead, but he's got Brian Snare right on his tail. Kasten has dropped to 6th. And the number 9 of Parham comes to the inside of the 43 and takes the 2nd position away from him. Side by side coming down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. Oh, he's got to be so careful. He gets that car down below that line so many times already. He's got to be careful. And it kind of tells you that the backhand wants to turn around quicker than he wants the car to turn. That's what we call a loose car. It's fishtailing just a little bit, and that causes him to go down towards that white line. And I don't think he wants to be there. So Parham now in 2nd. Having made good work of Brian Snare in 3rd, then Gregory Joyner is in 4th. Having trouble keeping up with these guys. Hank Kasten has dropped back a little. He's now in 5th, with Kenneth Redinger right behind him, and Brad Hernan in 7th, Austin Reedy in 8th. Redinger coming underneath Kasten, it looks like. He's not quite close enough. It looks like things are settling down just a little bit, and meanwhile, when we say that, something happens. There you see it in the replay, the number 9 of Justin Parham coming alongside Steenbacher's and taking the lead away from him. And that was going into lap 30. It is Parham that is your new leader in front of Ryan Steenbacher's and Brian Snare. It looks like Gregory Joyner is catching back up with the 43. Kasten in 5th, doing his best to catch up as well, with Redinger still behind him. So let's go back to the front there. Justin Parham in the number 9 car. He's got Steenbacher's behind him. And it looks like Steenbecker's getting it. Oh no!
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh man, and then, oh my goodness. I don't know who that was that ran right into that, but that looks like Greg Olnick. Yes, it is. Greg Olnick, the number 9 of Parham, being turned around here. This is not good. Let's go take a look back here. It looks like Steenbecker's got a great run, but he's too early, and he should have just moved a little bit lower coming off that turn. Turns the 9 around, and then Olnick cannot avoid the number 9 car and just smashes in there completely. There's just nothing he could do. The number 9 smoking. I hope for his sake he still has some fast repairs left. We had 2 to start with, so hopefully he still has one. Smoking car is never a good sign. He is avoiding pit lane there as he gets back on his way because the pits are not open yet. But I'm fairly sure he gets to take back some positions at least. There we go. He's coming into the pits. Everybody's coming into the pits. It looks like Redinger is staying out. Steenbecker, Snare, Joyner, Kasten. Everybody is coming down pit road, as is Justin Parham, obviously. And let's take a look at Greg Olnick and see how his machine is looking, because it actually, well, he's missing the hood, but it's actually, considering he got off fairly good. I hope he still has that fast repair as well. But I will say that that was a driving error from Steenbecker's. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but it was an error from Steenbecker's. He should have known the run. He should have seen the run he had on the 9 and just go a little bit lower and avoid that turnaround. That was unnecessary. But that's just my take on it, folks. You can have your own take on it, obviously. Let's see if we can find the number 9 car. Justin Parham. He is in great shape. He's got that car fixed up. Good deal. Good deal. That obviously is a good news for him. Steenbecker's here now in 3rd with Stein in 2nd. Stein must have stayed out. Yes, indeed. Redinger and Stein are the drivers that stayed out. So Kenneth Redinger in the 24 car. Last pitted on lap 15. And he is staying out now, and let's see who that is that's coming in. That is Patrick Stein going in. And meanwhile, we see Richard Rico going back out, and Brandon Gillis coming into the pits. Well, let's go take a look at the 82 car, the lady in the field, Debbie Hutchins. She has she picked that lead lap back up on the last caution, and she's pitted on lap 32 as well, and she's now running in 16th position. So she's made up some ground here. That's good news for her. Let's see who else we've got. Richard Rico is in 20th. Patrick Stein is now running in 24th, first position. Jerry Isaacs, he is running, and he is 4 laps down from his earlier incident, and Charlie Hayden is out. Jake Rowell never did take the start. Well, so far that's been an eventful race here, number 3 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Texas Motor Speedway I think is a track notorious for these kinds of incidents. It is a very, very fast track, and although turns 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are fairly highly banked, when you come off of turn 2 onto the backstretch, that banking drops off really fast, and that makes the back end a little light. And then when you come out of turn 4 going into the tri-oval, it's basically the same thing. The track flattens out quite a bit, and coming off those turns, the back end gets a little light, and that might be a part of what happened there. I'm not blaming Ryan Steenbeckers for doing anything on purpose, But I will say that what happened there was something that he could have avoided either by lifting or by turning the car a little bit further to the left. And maybe he just didn't want to do that because he was afraid it was going to turn on him. And that would make sense. He can feel that. You can feel that coming, and he may have felt that coming. So in his defense. Lights on the pace car are back out. We're going to go back to racing, going into lap 36 of 150. Almost half an hour of action on the clock already. Kenneth Redinger is your leader. Kenneth is, if I remember correctly, he is 7th in the championship. So being in this position would be good news for him, and that would that would bring him up a couple of positions. Let's There's the pace car going in, and it is up to Kenneth to get the show back on the road.
Green flag,
and he waits for the radio call. That means we're going to keep the field packed up together, it looks like. Steenbeckers is slotting in behind him there in 2nd position. Then it's Hank Gaston and Brian Snare side by side. Gaston being caught out there a little bit on the higher side, and he pushes that car back down. And we're going 3 wide, are we? No, we're not. But we're double wide here for the lead. Redinger and Steenbecker side by side for that leading position. And you can see, I mean, this is a fast racetrack. This is not a super speedway, but it is close. I mean, speeds on this track are high compared to some of the other 1.5-mile ovals. And that's what makes it tricky. Ooh, a little bit of pushing and shoving going on there between the 3 and the 43. Luckily, nobody gets in trouble. Redinger dropping back to 5th already, and Steenbecker's now picking up the lead with Brian Snare right behind him, coming to the inside. These guys are going for it. Side by side with Joyner in 3rd there in the number 3 car, pushing that nose almost as if he wants to go 3 wide there. Brian Snare now your leader. With Steenbeckers in the draft and Joyner in the draft. Joyner staying a little bit lower, and he is definitely pushing that nose alongside Steenbeckers there for 2nd position. Can't quite get it done. Steenbeckers has got the advantage of the draft behind the 43 there. Look at who is back in 4th. That's the 76 of Kyle Benson. He is back to get his part of the cake here, and Holzer in the 42. He has made up 15 positions since the start of the race, folks. James Holzer. Holzer is currently 4th in the championship. Hank Gaston running 6th behind him, and Parham is in 7th in the number 9 car. Then it's Nathaniel Mann, quietly kind of running in that top 10, I believe. Kenneth Redinger dropped back to 9th, and Austin Reedy in 10th. And further back in the field, we have Kenneth Bradstock in the 44 car. At the tail end of a little group here that is being led by, it looks like Robert Kinn and Patrick Stein, and Rico is in there, Richard Rico. Debbie Hutchins is driving kind of by herself here. She's got about a second ahead of her and a second behind her. Ballard is in front of her in the tied car. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the front, because it's Brian Snare that's got the lead. And it looks like Joyner has passed Steenbeckers there for 2nd position, while Benson in the 76 is definitely getting racier there behind Steenbeckers. He wants to be in that lead group, and he wants to make a difference. He's coming underneath Steenbeckers already. Not quite getting it done. Joyner right behind Snare. Ooh, once again, he likes to be by that white line, but you can tell it upsets the car. He loses a little bit of speed compared to Steenbecker's there. Steenbecker's now right behind him. Benson and Kasten, and then it's Parham, and then it's Nathaniel Mann and Holzer and Reedy. Joyner going a little bit high there. Steenbecker's trying to take advantage of that, but he's not close enough to come alongside. Now he is. Ooh, little wiggle. Steenbecker's coming back at the number 3 for second position. And he's got to let go there because he looked like he was drifting up a little bit towards that red car, and you could see him slowing down just a tad. The 76 of Benson is now right behind him. Let's ride along with Benson here. This is your front row seat to the battle for second position. Into the turn 1 here. You can hear they're going off the throttle a little bit. The 3 runs a little bit wide. Benson seems to be gaining. There he comes alongside Steenbecker's, and he's bringing Kasten with him in the draft. Kasten and Parham. Now Steenbecker's looks like he's going to have a hard time getting back down because there's cars bumper to bumper on his left. The 76 runs a little wide. Oh, and it looks like Joyner was trying to follow the draft of Snare. They're playing around a little bit with the lines they're driving just to make sure that the guy behind them can't get that draft. Snare looks like he's going home with this thing at the moment. He's got almost half a second on Joyner. You can see that there. And Kasten coming back strongly, and he's picking up second position. Still side by side. Kasten is going to lead him into turn 1. Kasten's doing a good job here tonight, that is for sure. Like I said, we've seen him race in the Coast to Coast Series. That season is over, and Kasten is no longer in that series. Kasten is new in this series. We know what he can do. He's got a lot of skill, but he is up to a different caliber of drivers in this series, I believe. These guys know they're not messing around. Snare seems to be taking a bit of a defensive line to try and break the draft for the guys behind him, but it's not really working. Kasten is catching up, and he's coming alongside. He found his mojo again. I think sometimes those guys they'll just take it easy for a couple of laps, make sure everything feels good, the tires are saved a little bit, and when it's go time, they go. We're on lap 52. 1/3 of the race is down our belt, and the battle has been hot from the start. Kasten now leading. Brian Snare in second. Gregory Joyner in third in the number 3 car. Justin Parham worked his way back to 4th again. From his starting position, he is 9 spots up. Nathaniel Mann, 7 spots up from the start. He is in 5th position, running strong. Ryan Steenbecker's challenging him at this point. Steenbakkers was way up there, and it looked like he's struggling a little bit now. Holzer coming to his outside. Austin Reedy back in 8th position. Benson dropped to 9th. That looked like it could go wrong any minute there. Gaston is in the lead with Brian Snare behind him and Joyner and Parnham right on their tail. And the 3 gets a strong run here on Snare. He goes into 2nd position, still side by side. Oh, look at that, the first 4 drivers side by side here. Ooh, the 9 gets a little loose again. I'm not sure if he likes the car that way, but he handles it very well. Look at that. Parham just moves himself along. He looks like he's actually getting pushed by the 43. Parham in the lead. Gaston now in 3rd. Oh, the 9 and the 43 both having a bit of a wiggle there. The 3 now coming on strong underneath. Joyner takes the 2nd position away from the 43. It is Parham back in the lead. And from the back end of Parham, this is what it looks like. You're looking at Gregory Joyner there in the number 3 Budweiser car. Behind him, you'll see Brian Snare in the white car. Hank Gaston in 4th. And James Holzer is in 5th. Gaston there on your right-hand side of your screen. Gaston and Snare are right side by side. There you have him, looking back from Joyner's car now. Look at that, side by side all the way. Ooh, it looks like Joyner is getting a little bit in trouble here. And that brings them right back together again. Gaston now to the inside of the 3, back into 2nd position. It looked like Gaston got a little loose. You could hear the engine, and you could see the back end slipping to the outside a little bit. Parham's hanging on to that lead. Gaston in 2nd, Joyner in 3rd, Snare in 4th, and then it's Holzer and Reedy in the back end of this group that's being rounded out by Nathaniel Mann. The 29 car, and Steenbakkers is also there still. Steenbakkers seems to be coming back a little bit. Ooh, look at that. Side by side here, 4 cars. Joyner on the inside with the 43. Oh, 3 wide. That almost went wrong. The 43 had to get out of that. You can see how much time that cost him. He loses a couple of positions just having to lift there, making sure that he wouldn't turn the 3 around. And Nathaniel Mann in the 29 car is right behind the 43 now. Tail end of the leading group. Parham still leading. Gaston in 2nd. Holzer now in 3rd. Reedy in 4th. Steenbakkers in 5th. Joyner in 6th. We have Benson going down pit road. What happened to him? Sounds awful quiet. Did he blow the engine or did he run out of fuel? Well, no, it's still running. Not sure why he is looking to go the pits in lap 63. He may have, I thought he pitted on lap 32. Not sure. Meanwhile, it is still Parham and Gaston for the lead. Holzer and Reedy in third and fourth. So good job for Austin Reedy. Good job for James Holzer too. Holzer picks up second position. Something has happened to Parham. I'm not sure what it was, but he is dropping back to fourth position. He may have had another one of those little wiggles. Gaston now in the lead. Holzer and Reedy on his tail. It looks like Holzer's got a little bit of rear end damage on that car. Doesn't seem to hurt him any. Reedy now going to second position. Ooh, that was a bold move on the 42. Austin Reedy, second position. Going after newcomer Hank Gaston. Your championship leader, Reedy, your newcomer, Hank Gaston. So it's basically on the two opposite ends of the championship standings. There he goes. Takes over the lead fairly smoothly there. Gaston is not giving up. He's coming back down underneath. And it looks like the 11 can hold him off. Gaston now inching ahead and taking the lead back from Austin Reedy. Let's ride along with Reedy here. Back marker on the high side there. We see Robert Ballard Jr. coming down pit road. There might be a few guys that are starting to see those tires go away and just kind of thinking better be safe than sorry. Reedy and Gaston still at the front, and then it's Holzer kind of by himself. Steenbecker's now leading Parham and Joyner. They've got back markers to deal with, obviously. That's the 44. Kenneth Bradstock. Let's go check back on Austin Reedy as we see that looked like Ballard coming back out of the pits. Reedy close behind Gaston. And that's how close it is. And we see Debbie Hutchins coming down pit road. Yeah, it looks like there's drivers that are risking the green flag pit stop just to be safe on their tires, it looks like. Actually, Ballard he's back into pit road. What's going on? That's a second pit stop in as many laps. Caston and Reedy still duking it out here together. It looks like Reedy is just taking a little bit easier approach here at this point. No reason to risk it all. He knows he's got the same speed as Caston. In fact, their last lap times were identical. So I think Austin Reedy is just kind of thinking the better of it right now. We're halfway into this race, and he's probably just using Caston's draft to save a little bit of fuel and save his tires a little bit. And meanwhile, in third position, we have Holzer in the 42 car. Then it's Steenbakkers in the 13. Parham has dropped back significantly from Steenbakkers, about a second and a half. Joyner is in sixth position. He's still dealing with Schneider. I'm sorry, with Schneider and Werner. Werner in the 33 car has made up 14 positions since the start of this race. And he looks like he's running really strong. Werner is sixth in the championship standings, and he is pushing. He's going forward. Kenneth Redinger in the 24 is in 10th position, and Nathaniel Mann in the 29 is in 11th. Let's go back and check on Richard Rico. He is running in 17th. He's one lap down from the leaders. And Debbie Hutchins is back in 21st position. Brandon Gillis in 20th. Benson has been to the pits, I believe, on lap 62, and he is now running in 19th position. So we're kind of waiting to see how long will these guys make their fuel last. And we can take a look at that. Caston has got 54 laps on his fuel stint. Redinger has 61 on his fuel, so we're not necessarily talking about fuel stops if we don't have to. Robert Kinn down pit road, 20th position. And it looks like Steenbakkers has picked up third position from Parham and Holzer. Holzer seems to be dropping back a little bit. Parham going by him now. So Steenbakker has passed him, and now Parham is on the verge of doing so. Joyner down pit road. He was up there, and he looks like he's had enough of those tires. Let's take a look at that. Yep, right sides. So the decision that these guys make to make a green flag pit stop and lose this much time, it's a tough decision. What we can tell you is that the lap times compared to the best times that they've run tonight, when you look at Caston and Reedy and Steenbakkers, they're about 2 seconds, 1.7 to 2 seconds slower than their best times. So if you pit now, you lose a lot of time, obviously, in track position, but when you can lap about 2 seconds faster than the leaders, you're going to make that up fairly quickly. Now, obviously, making up a full lap under green flag conditions, that's a stretch, obviously. So the only thing you can do is hope for the guys in the lead to stay out even longer, losing more time, and that way you can catch up with them. It's a tough call to make. Redinger is going down pit road. He is making that choice. Like I said, I'm not a driver that regularly runs NASCAR. I run a lot of Indy cars, also on ovals. And I am one for staying out as long as I can because green flag pit stops are just too costly. But that's Indy cars, and the differences in speed there between new and old tires is a little bit different because they're high downforce machines. These cars are heavier, they use a lot more fuel, they use a lot more of the rubber underneath the car, and they don't have as much downforce, so you do a lot more slip sliding around and you eat those tires up a lot quicker. Kasten for now is staying out, so is Reedy, and Steenbakkers is in third, and behind Reedy we have a back marker. We can tell you who that is. That is Jerry Isaacs. Jerry Isaacs is 7 laps down, but it looks like his car's been fixed up and he is rolling good lap times. In fact, he is as quick as the 2 leaders there. Looks like Kasten pulling away from Reedy a little bit. Things are settling down a little bit because drivers are now feeling the effect of the approach they had in the beginning. The guys that have asked a lot of their tires are in trouble, and the guys that have been smooth and managed to save those tires are the ones that are running the best lap times. And Kasten is one of them, and we know that Hank Kasten, he's told me that in one of the interviews that I had with him after one of the races he won in the Coast to Coast series. He feels like he is a driver best suited for long stints, and he is doing that. He's proven that again here tonight. He is currently running a 30.1 as opposed to Austin Reedy dropping back to a 30.7, and then Steenbakker's gaining a little bit with a 30.4, Parham 30.2, Holzer 30.3. Patrick Stein is opting to go into the pits. That means he gives up a top 12 position. And you can see that Isaacs has actually passed Austin Reedy, and he is hoping to get one of those laps back. Reedy now 1.1 seconds behind Kasten. Steenbakker's 3.5 seconds behind Reedy. But he's still running good. 30.6 was his last lap time. That is not particularly fast. I'm sure he is feeling that that car is slipping away from him as well. Brandon Gillis coming down pit road in the number 28 car. And let's go take a look at the number 9 of Justin Parham. He is about 0.8 of a second behind Steenbakkers in 4th. He's got Justin Holzer right behind him. Those guys are about equally fast. Holzer seems to be coming back at him in a little bit again. And we're going to have to wait and see how long these guys decide to keep this thing going on that older rubber. What I will say is somewhat notable is that Hank Kasten's lap times are not dropping off all that much. He has been running a 30.2 for quite some time now. So we'll keep an eye on what he does, but it looks like the ones in pursuit, Reedy is also running 30.2, but Steenbakkers is slower, and Holzer is a little slower, and Parham is a little bit slower. So now it's going to be a battle about who has the longest breath here, who can hold it up, who can hold it together the longest on older rubber as the car keeps slipping away. Well, to give you an idea, one of the drivers that pitted was Gregory Joyner, and Gregory is running 29.5 at this point. Ooh, and this is good news for the guys that stayed out. Let's go see what's going on. Oh, the 40. That is Robert Kinney, and believe that was Brad Stock. I'm not sure if it was. Let's go see what happened here. Ooh, He just misjudged. That was the 89 of Stein, and they were behind another driver. And I think this was just. Let's take a look at this again. He goes a little wide. He comes back down, and he completely misjudges where to place his car. He wants to go underneath the other ones, and he just kind of misjudges that. The speed difference was obviously a lot bigger than he expected it to be, and that's where it all went wrong. He is rolling, and we can keep an eye on him. As far as fast repairs is concerned, I'm not sure if he's used them. Lap 93, yellow flag, and that is good news for everybody that stayed out, because no matter how you look at it, those other guys that pitted may be quicker, but they weren't quick enough to make up for a yellow flag pit stop for the others. That I can tell you, I guarantee you. So Gaston, Reedy, Steenbakkers, Holzer, they're all coming down pit road, and those are the guys that are benefiting the most. Obviously, Joyner will stay out. Richard Rico staying out. Well, he can't pit yet. He has to wait till the next lap. Redinger coming in the 24 car. Debbie Hutchins is in the pit again. Hank is already back out. He's got his car serviced. Steenbakker coming out. Reedy, he lost the position to Steenbakker's there. Holzer, Maan is coming out of the pits quick. He's in 5th now. Kate Gimbel. Kate has worked his way up. Schneer. Joyner stayed out. So there you basically have it, folks. Gregory Joyner pitted under green. Was a lot quicker than the leaders. Made up for some good time, but he's still 8th. And Hank Gaston just comes back out in the lead. Green flag. You cannot beat a green flag pit stop unless you run a long stint under green. Basically, a pit stop here at this track will throw you off 1 lap, which is about 25 to 30 seconds that you need for that pit stop in total. So yeah, so I mean, you got to run a lot quicker than you got to run a second a lap quicker for 25 laps to catch up with a yellow flag pit stop, and that just doesn't happen. We see Richard Rico going down pit road, the 40. Yep, he still had that fast repair. Good for him. Richard Kin, that car looks like it's in tip-top shape now, so he is not out of it at all. So here we have Kasten. In front of him, it's Justin Parham. So he'll be waved around to the back end. That is also true for Kyle Benson and for Brandon Gillis. Oops. Rico still on pit road. Takes quite long, actually. So Kasten and Steenbakkers leading the pack as we will get going. And that is basically exactly what I was trying to say with the fact that when I run Indy cars on ovals, I stay out as long as I can and wait for that yellow pit stop. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. I mean, you can't look into the future. You don't know everything, but you take a big gamble going into the pits under green. Not only you can be faster, obviously, but you still have to pass other cars. That's costing you time as well. So no matter how you spin it, I always think that is a very difficult call. Your car has to be pretty bad before you do that. But like I said, I'm not super experienced on NASCAR, as I can tell you that these guys have no downforce, do a lot more slip sliding around. The tires eat away a lot quicker. They're heavier, so it might feel different in these cars than it does in an Indy car, obviously. Steenbacher's alongside Kasten, and then it's Reedy and Holzer behind him in the second row, and Mon and Gimbel, Kate Gimbel, in the third row. Can't mix up our Gimbels. Jaden Gimbel currently running in 10th.
Green flag,
there we go. They waited for the call. Kasten is on his way, and he brings along Austin Reedy there in second position in the number 11 car. Steenbacher's drops to third and now to fourth, as Holzer is already coming by him. Nathaniel Mon is coming underneath him, so Steenbacher's is going to have to be a little bit careful here. The 29 will come underneath him as well. And Kasten runs away with the start once again. Reedy on his tail, Holzer on his tail.
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh, quick caution once again. Let's go find out. Oh, that is once again the number 14 car. That is Robert Kinney that is involved there. It doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of damage. Let's go see what happens. Just gets a little bit of a tap there from the 76. Sends him spinning around. He really avoids the walls, and can the other people avoid him? Yes, they can. So he's pretty lucky here, I would say. Didn't lose too much. He was at the back end of the pack anyway. Bradstock coming down pit road. And I believe it was the 76 that was involved in the incident there. Let's see if we can bring it back one more time. Yep. He just really taps him on the wrong corner there. Sends him spinning around. And Joyner opting to go back onto pit road, as is Justin Parham. That's interesting. Benson having an issue. Ooh, what happened here? Ooh, he's just avoiding to run into the back there of somebody else. Good deal. Every once in a while you just misjudge how fast you're coming up to the group, and that's kind of what the 76 did here, and good for him for not running into the back of that other driver there, the 29, I believe it is. Yes, it is. He took evasive action, and that's good sportsmanship. Lap 100. The final third part of the race will be on its way here soon. And it's been a hard-fought night. The only thing that really eased the tensions a little bit was the fact that tires were wearing off and the differences were becoming a little bit bigger between the various drivers at the top. But so far, other than that, it's been a pretty hard-fought race. And despite that we've had a few incidents that cost yellows, I will say that these guys are doing a phenomenal job keeping it clean. You know, what happened to Steenbacher's earlier, I hope you don't interpret that as me thinking he did something terrible, because it's just part of racing, you know, and sometimes you just misjudge stuff, and things happen really, really quickly. And you have to have lightning responses, and you can't blame people for every once in a while not having a perfect moment, and so you know that it's not that it's just not that easy. Let's just leave it at that. It's just not that easy, and anybody that thinks different, I dare you to just go out and try and do this on iRacing. It is not easy. Robert Kinn still on pit road, and I'm kind of wondering here. He does have a little bit of rear end damage, and that might hurt him a little bit. If that spoiler is not in the original position, that's not good, especially not on fast tracks like this where you need all the help you can get when it comes to downforce. Alright, the lights on that Mustang are out. That means we're going to line them up, and coming lap 103, we'll be racing again. A little bit under 50 laps to go. Hank Kasten, Austin Reedy on the front row with Holzer and Steenbakkers on the second row there. And Nathaniel Mann and Tyler Werner on the third row. Werner's been doing a great job. We haven't noticed him a whole lot in that 33 car, but he's quietly worked himself forward. He's gained 15 positions since the start. So he's come from a long way. Holzer, same thing. He's come 17 positions up since the start. Kenneth Redinger is in a little bit more trouble. He has lost quite a bit. Now running in 15th position. And Redinger has actually shown a lap down. So on the last restart, they very nicely waited till the radio call. I'm not sure if that's the gentleman's agreement in this league, but it seems to me it is. Although Hank is a little early here. There are a few leagues that kind of make a gentleman's agreement to wait for the call on the radio, but like in real life, the leader decides when to hit the gas, and that's okay. Holzer now is in hot pursuit of Kasten already. Austin Reedy is in third in the 11 car with Steenbakkers in fourth. That outside line on the restart's given Steenbakkers trouble. And Reedy coming to the inside. Yep, coming to the inside, and Reedy is taking away the lead from Kasten, and he's bringing Steenbakkers with him. That's how quick it can change. It's unbelievable. You flash your eyes and we have a new leader. And in the back of the pack, we can notice that Parham is setting the fastest lap of the race. Oh! Almost losing it. And that's what I talked about before. If you can catch something like that, then you know what you're doing. That is phenomenal. That is skill. I take my hat off to guys like that. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Steenbakkers has taken second from Kasten. Ooh, Steenbakkers also getting a little bit loose there, it looks like. Steenbakkers is so close, and now Kasten coming back again. Don't forget, folks, that the draft here plays a major part in what's going on. We have High speeds, that means that if you're behind somebody, you immediately gain a few miles an hour on the guy in front of you just because he's punching a hole in the air and you're not. And that's what allows Caston to come and reclaim his fight for the lead there. I will say everybody is up to speed here. This whole group, it's awesome. The first 10, 12 drivers are just all there. Steenbacher's trying the inside. He has the nose alongside, I think. No, he doesn't. Look at that whole train of cars. And who's working his way back up forward? It is Gregory Joyner, running very, very strong here, working his way up to 5th position. Maybe that extra pit stop did give him the tires he needed. Oh, it goes wrong for the 29. What happened there? Looked like that's Nathaniel Mann. Oh, big mess, big mess. Let's go see what happens here. It looks like he and who is that? The 33. Yes, Mann is coming up. He's not clear. He collects the 33. That's Tyler Werner. That is so unfortunate for Werner. Werner was doing so strong. Let's take a look at that from the air and see what's going on. The 33 is Werner. The 29 is Mann. Oh, just going for the same real estate there, not clear, and then everybody spins around. And I do believe that Mann is collecting more people than Werner is. Bring that, check that out again. 33 on his high side. The 29 comes back up. Little bit too far, just a little bit too far. That's just a little judgment error. And then the 43, the 43, and I believe the 89, I believe that was, no, 85. Yeah, Brett Hernan. Unfortunate for these guys. Well, look at that. Leader on pit road, Hank Caston, Joyner, the whole top 13 is in the pits. Debbie Hutchins in the pits. Jerry Isaacs in the pits. Pretty much everybody. And it is Reedy that beats them all out, with Steenbacher in second and Caston in third. Holzer, did Reedy only take 2 tires maybe? We can try to see that if we can scroll back to the pit stop. No, we gotta go back a little bit further. Nope, he's taking all 4. He's taking all 4. He just had a good pit stop. Parham in the pits here in 13th position. And once again, folks, we appreciate Pure Speed Elite Series organizers to bring attention to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As said, you see a lot of drivers with their paint schemes updated a little bit with pink, the numbers pink, or the livery dominated by pink. just to raise a little more awareness for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October, the entire month, is to raise awareness for breast cancer. Parham in the pits again. Well, he might be opting to have the team work on that damage that he sustained earlier. Well, although the car does look pretty good. Gillis back out. Redinger also still on pit road here. He's not having the best night. So riding along with Austin Reedy, you'll see that those cars in front of him will get waved by the pace car. So Reedy will pick up first position behind the pace car because we're going to go racing as we head into lap 115. Reedy and Steenbakkers on the front row once again. Kasten and Holzer on the second row. And then it is Jaden Gimbel and Gregory Joyner on third row. Jaden Gimbel worked his way forward quite well. Now in fourth position. I'll have to correct myself. He's in fifth position. But still, he's 16 positions up from the start. As you recall, he did not get an opportunity to set a qualifying time, so he started in the back. Jaden is currently still second in the championship, so being up here is important for his championship hopes. And if everything is the race is anything like this, it's going to be a hard-fought championship, I can tell you. There we go. Austin Reedy hits the gas a little bit early. I guess what I said about the gentleman's agreement is not what they do. Reedy in the lead, Steenbakkers in second, Kasten and Holzer right behind there. Kasten on the inside of Steenbakkers already. Steenbakkers trying to keep him low. Kasten now picks up second position. Holzer comes with him. Oh, it looked like that was going bad there.
The yellow flag is out.
Yep. Wasn't exactly sure what was happening, but there you have it, folks. This is right behind the leaders. It's actually Jaden Gimbel. Jaden Gimbel that gets loose. Let's bring it back. Ooh, Gimbel and the number 3 both get loose simultaneously. It's almost like formation skidding. The 12 is having the worst of it, though, and then various other drivers just can't avoid the mayhem. And that's kind of how that works. Let's bring that back one more time. The 3 gets loose and the 12 get loose, both of them separately, and then the 12 they just can't save it. And like I said, nothing negative about these guys. It's not easy. It is just not easy. Jaden is still running. He's missing the rear end, and he's therefore missing the spoiler on the rear end. So I'm fairly sure he's going to bring that thing in to get it fixed. Hopefully they can still fix it. If he has one of those 2 fast repairs left, that would be great, but I'm not sure if he has. And it really hurts all the progress he's made so far. He was up 18 positions during the race, and that's going to get destroyed again. Various other drivers in the pits. Joyner is in the pits. Let's see if we can see what happens to his car, if he can get it back on the way. It's a fairly lengthy pit stop. He may have decided to take a tow and waiting on that tow to expire. What we mean by the tow is that the drivers can hit the escape button when they're on the track, and that'll put them in the pits right away, but iRacing will hold them there and calculate time for what is simulated as a tow. And that's how that works. It looks like the 3 is in fairly good shape. Well, the back end's a little crumbled up. It's not great. It's not great. Here we see Jaden Gimbel coming back down pit road. Fingers crossed. Yes, he still had a faster pair. Thank goodness. He's taking tires as well. Well, Greg Olnick is in pit road. He must have run into these guys. There we see Jaden go back out. And we're already lining them up side by side, it looks like. Well, lights are still on. They'll probably go out next lap. Well, it got a little messier in the second part of the race, I would say, but not necessarily because of rough driving, as more of just drivers having trouble with that loose back end. Like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, during practice we've seen some of that, and although you would think that the track gets rubbered in a little bit, it might also be cooling down some. And you know, like I said, at these speeds on this track, it's not easy to catch that car if it breaks away from you, and that's what we've seen a couple times. So the lights are out. We have Reedy and Kasten on the front row, and then it should be Holzer and Steenbakkers. Actually, we might be going for a single file restart because it came fairly quickly. Not sure if Hank Kasten is aware of that. Everybody else is staying single file, so I'm fairly sure that's what it is. Single file restarts are usually a little bit cleaner because obviously there's no side-by-side racing right from the get-go. The field is stretched out a little bit more, so when we have yellows following each other very quickly, that's what they often do to avoid the whole thing becoming nothing but yellows. Lap 120. As we go green, Reedy is getting rat. There he goes. He is on his way. Kasten in second position. Looking at a half a second deficit already. Holzer in third there. Steenbakkers in fourth. And there you see the effect of a single file restart. The field stretches out almost immediately. We still have Olnick in the pits. I'm not sure if that's going to change anymore. We have Holzer going after Hank Kasten. Looks like they're almost pushing each other. And on a track like this, on super speedways, that works on the straights, but on a track like this, that is tricky business. It looks like Reedy's advantage from the start is already evaporated. Kasten is right behind him. Holzer is past Kasten, and Steenbakkers is caught up with him. And there we see Holzer going for the lead on the inside of Reedy. Kasten coming along in the draft with the 42 there.
The yellow flag is out.
Ooh, let's go see, find out what's going on, folks. The 43 and the 85. That's just one of those incidents where they're just a little bit too close together. At these speeds, there is just no room for error, and that's what you're looking at. That's unfortunate. The 43, that is Brian Snare, and the 85, that is Brad Herman. Taking a tow to pit road there. Gregory Joyner is deciding to come down pit road and see if he can get some more fixed on that machine. Like I said, that back end is not quite original anymore. And he is probably in a position at the tail end of the lead lap where he can, and that's exactly where he is. He is at the tail end of the lead lap. So everything he can get done is not costing him anything under yellow. Herman and Snare are in the pits. Olnick is still in the pits. Redinger still in the pits. I'm sure those two guys have decided to call it a night. Holzer is your leader. In front of Kasten, Reedy, and Steenbakkers. 4 of them there were back together as we hit the yellow. Joyner once again going through pit road. Well, let's go take a look at Jaden Gimbel. He is running an 8, so that could be a lot worse given what has happened to him all this night. Parham in 9th, Patrick Stein in 10th. Joyner back on pit road once again. Kinney still running. Debbie Hutchins in 15th position, 3 laps down from the leader. But she's still there. Brandon Gillis, same thing, still there. 4 laps down from the leader. Looks like he's going down pit road to get some service. Tyler Werner, he's lost 5 laps with that last incident. That was costly. And that is a shame because he made so much progress. He was running really strong there in the second half of the race. And let me see, Richard Rico, is he still running? Nope, Richard has left the race. Redinger is out. Olnick is still on pit road, but not much happening there. So we lost, 4 drivers. It's not been an easy night for most of them. I think pretty much everybody has been collected in something. And like I said, it's been an eventful race. There's been a long green stretch where things seemed to settle down a little bit as the tires were wearing off and people were just incapable of keeping the fights going. But other than that, this has been an eventful race with short stints that give us hard fights for position. Holzer currently 4th in the standing, so he'll be doing good work here if he can snatch that win. And as said, Kasten is new to this league, so in the point standings he's got some catching up to do. But if he's gonna do it like this every race, he'll be caught up pretty quickly. And there we have him getting ready to get back to racing. Side by side, we have Holzer and Kasten on the front row. Reeder and Steenbeckers are on the second row. And then it's Benson and Gimbel, Kate Gimbel this time. Kyle Benson worked his way back up. That's pretty amazing. It's been the story of the night. Work your way back up, drop back down, and work your way back up again. All right, we're going into lap 129. That means we have 22 laps to go. And there we go. Holzer's on it. He pulls away. Kasten already being overtaken by Austin Reedy on the inside. Ryan Steenbeckers in 4th position there with the purple wheels. Benson in 5th position, hanging with these. Kasten is looking out there a little bit on that high side. Reedy and Steenbeckers on that 2nd position. It is Ryan Steenbeckers that picks that up. That higher line on those restarts not working. Steenbeckers now to the lead, and he's got Benson in his draft. And Holzer fighting back on that higher side. The 42 runs strongly tonight, that's for sure. Benson in the draft. And Kasten on the higher side there as well. No, I'm sorry, he's on the lower side now. Ooh, the 11. Oh, the 11 turns Kasten around. That is Kasten that is being turned around by the 11. Let's bring that back again. The 11 has got a good run out of that turn. Wants to go inside, and then at the same moment, Kasten decides to go inside as well. Both going for the same real estate. Ooh, that 11 looks bent up pretty bad. Let's go check on Kasten. That looks bent up pretty bad. See the whole thing from his end. Yeah. Nothing he could do about it. We can take it back from the blimp one more time. Scroll back a little bit further. Kasten is on the lower side there in the black car. The 11 hits in on the quarter panel. It kind of baffles me. Why would you go for that inside there? It's just not open enough to go there. But maybe that's just me. So Reedy has got some repairs to get done there. Let's check on Hank Kasten. Well, he's moving. I tell you what, he's had that fast repair. Still had it. He's in 10th position. Don't count him out. Hank is a fast driver. He knows how to place his cart right. Austin Reedy, mixing up his first and his last name here, also had a fast repair. And he's in 9th position. So both of them coming off of this fairly good with a fast repair. Cade Gimbel has had a lot less luck with this. He was part of the mayhem there as well, I believe. And Brian Snare. Car looks good. It's hard to tell from a distance, that's for sure. All right, so we'll keep an eye on Reedy and Caston. They're in the top 10 still. They came off with fast repairs, so lucky for them, their cars are still good. That's one thing the real-life NASCAR drivers don't have. Fast repairs. But it's a way to keep the competition going, and I can see leagues opting to do that to keep the race exciting and to keep people in contention. Ryan Steenbeckers is the leader. He's been fighting really, really hard all race long. Holzer has a bit of a connection issue. He's blinking in and out. He was blinking right before that crash happened as well. Kyle Benson back up into top 3. You gotta give him credit for that. He's had an up and down night. Nathaniel Mann, same thing. He's had an up and down night, and he's back at it. And look who's back in 5th position. Even though the car is not completely original design, he's still up there. Jaden Gimbel. Justin Parham, 6th position. Patrick Stein, 7th. Gregory Joyner in 8th. And then it's Reedy and Caston rounding out your top 10. We're going single file, it looks like. Well, let's wait and see. Steenbergen getting a little bit of a love tap there from the 42. No, we're going double file. Yeah, Kate Gimbel still in the pits. That's taken awfully long. It doesn't look like that's gonna. Well, he must have taken that tow because he's getting tires. That's a good sign. They're still doing something. And then the movement kind of stopped. Kate may have decided not to go back out. And that would be good news for Debbie Hutchins. She's running 13th behind him. Well, we have 16 laps to go as we cross the line. Make that 15. Let's see if we can take this thing home. Ryan Steenbeckers is on the gas early. Holzer in 2nd there, already being challenged by Benson. In the 76, he picks up 2nd position on the restart here. Jaden Gimbel going for 4th. And with the damage on that car, I would say he's holding off the 29. He's missing speed, but he's holding off the 29 there. That's Nathaniel Mann. Steenbeckers in front with Benson and Holzer. The 3 drivers here, the top 3, right together. Benson is getting racy now. Ooh, he washes up quite high. That's a little costly. Holzer is having trouble. Jaden Gimbel coming to his inside. Ooh, Holzer having it looked like a bit of a moment there. Oh, Gimbel going, what? Well, I'm not so sure what's going on here, folks. This is weird. That looked to me like somebody wasn't happy. It's obviously going to give him a speeding penalty in the pit lane here. But that looked like retaliation, and that is not right. Oh, the race has been finished and lap 137. We may have run out of time. I didn't even think of that. That's what's going on. My apologies. I was expecting us to have a little dash for the cash here of 16 laps, but it looks like the time has expired. Well, the time is still ticking, actually. They finished the race. I'm not sure what happened here, but the race is given the checkered flag in lap 137. Ryan Steenbeckers is your winner. So let's go and see if we can find some guys to talk to. James, this is Mark in the booth. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, my mic was muted.
That's all right, sir. James, it looked like a bit of a hard-fought first half of the race with good racing, close racing, and then the second half got a little bit more messy. What's your take on this?
People really weren't learning how to check up in the corners. I don't know, everyone was running wide open and burning their stuff up, and then they would burn their tires up and wreck because they couldn't handle the car any longer. But I had a really tremendous amount of aerodynamic damage at the beginning. I was trying to miss a caution and got wide open in the back end, but didn't use a fast repair. Had spoiler damage, right side damage, but we drove all the way back up to third on a green flag run, the longer one that we had. Retained the track position, and we were coming to the lead there on the last restart. I knew the time thing was going to be an issue, so I don't know what they did in this last patch, but the draft is like super high compared to what it was the last time I remember I was here at Texas. But had like 2/10 lead with a perfectly clean car, and the guy below me just dove wide open in the corner, got tight, and I had to check, and then the caution come out, and that's where the race finished. And I didn't think we were going to get any laps after the timer ran off. We got one lap, and he started first gear and started way early, so he jumped out to like a half-second lead before we even crossed the start-finish line. So good win to him, I guess. I wish we would have actually finished the race out, and it's kind of frustrating though. It was 10-lap run, 10-lap run, 10-lap run, because with this package and this tire model, anybody can be fast for 10 laps. It's what you do from lap 10 to 20 on those tires that really shows what you do at the end. But can't complain with the top 3 finish. Made up points on the points leader. I don't know, relative points wise where second and first was on me. I believe they were both behind me, but we did a good job to bring the car home in the top 3, and I think we could have done better, but completely okay with the results that we had.
Oh well, I can't blame you on that. I will tell you the time limit kind of caught me off guard. I thought we were going the whole distance, but you were absolutely right. There was only basically one green period that went a little bit longer than the 10 laps, and you could see that whoever was working hard on those tires in the beginning was punished for that, and the field everything was stretching out. So it looked like after those 10 laps, exactly as you said, people were getting in trouble. So
yeah, I was taking care of my tires really well, but the issue is, as the tires wear out, just naturally you're losing speed, and if you have any aerodynamic disadvantage, it's gonna hurt you worse. I was gaining 1/10 to 2/10 in 1 and 2, and I was losing between 3/10 and a half a second from the exit of 2, which I would have momentum coming out of gaining time by the time from there until I got into turn 1. So just the aero was killing me, and I wasn't letting out either, because like you could stay wide open in 3 and 4, no matter how many laps you were on the tires, because
wow,
with the cool track temperatures and everything, it was really good. And these cars give iRacing a shout out. Actually, this is like the best fixed setup that they've brought to any mile and a half. Like you can actually turn the car, and I don't know, like they don't, like, even when the right front burns up, it doesn't get like tight per se. I don't know. Like there's a lot of the mile and a halfers where just the right front just completely goes away fuel wise. But I was don't know if it was just the way I was driving the track or what, but myself and my teammate in the '05, who unfortunately got taken out in that last caution, who was leading that long flag run, him and I
Yeah,
both we were wearing more right rear than we were right front, which is super uncommon on a fixed setup. So
absolutely.
we were
Yeah.
doing a good job of backing up the corners and carrying the momentum, and that's what we were talking. If before, I think we had like three cautions. It was before the gimbal incident where Jaden Gimbal hit the apron and wiped out from like sixth, seventh place or so. Might have been up higher than that, but we were talking before that, and if it went green, we were going to be able to go all the way. So him and I were talking. We said, hey, we should just baby the tires. I'll ride behind you. If they want to pass, we'll leave the bottom open, because if it goes green, 40 laps. I mean, if they're going wide open in one and two for more than 15 laps, it's going to be detrimental to their tires. So we would have had the long run and finished it out green, but just unfortunate. Even when we all knew that we weren't going to make it on time, and we still kept wrecking each other. I don't know. I mean, I think we still couldn't have finished even if we had one less caution, two less cautions would have been close. But the pace speed is really slow here at Texas too. So I mean, we
Yeah.
were going
Yeah.
like a minute and 48 seconds a pace lap.
Yeah.
Crazy slow for a mile and a half. So that also killed us too. But I don't know. I mean, I felt that the time given was plenty, but even with the event, how many cautions we had, probably should assume that because Texas high draft, not a lot of lifting, so close quarters, a lot of guys. So I don't know, but we learned, and forget where we're going to next week track wise, but
We're going to
looking.
Homestead, James.
All right, just had a truck race here at Homestead in another league I run in, Four Wide Racing League. We're starting our off season series. Also, shout out to that on Tuesday here, this upcoming Tuesday. It'll be at the races start at 9:10 Eastern time, but practice starts at 8:30, so you get half an hour practice, 10-minute qualify. But it's Xfinity cars. It's a short off season race with playoffs. Defending season one, our first season, defending season one champion. So come on out, race with us. And I got some practice for Homestead, so pretty confident in the Cup cars there.
All right. So I understand Hank is your new teammate for this race.
Yeah,
This was his first time in this league, if I remember correctly. I've seen him race in other leagues a couple times. I know you got a pretty strong teammate with that. James, I want to give the other guys a chance to review this race as well. Any shout outs and thank yous you want to throw out there, go ahead.
absolutely. Yeah. Thanks to you for putting on the broadcast. We greatly appreciate it. You put on a killer broadcast. Love the ticker that you use and how often it updates, and you show like who's running the fastest laps at what points and stuff like that. I really like that a lot. Also, shout out to Austin Reedy, who is my guy that pushes me in four wide racing. He was the second place runner up in the cup points. He had a really strong night tonight. Also involved in that last caution. Um, Shout out to Tyler Murray, who is also in this league but didn't run tonight, who makes my paint schemes. And it's really all I have. So go ahead out and talk to those other guys. But was extremely proud of Hank, even though I'm not the team leader. Like to be involved with the team. Did not know he was racing until like right before the race started. And really good guy. Works with you on the track, even if we're fighting for first place. So
Absolutely good racer. I can tell you that from what I've seen in the other league that I covered the whole season or almost the whole season for. You're going to have a good teammate with that. Thanks very much, James, and we'll see you again in Homestead. Good luck there, and get prepared, man.
for sure, thank you.
You betcha. Thank you very much, Kyle Benson, second place. This was an up and down kind of battle for you. You've been down in the order, you've been up in the order, down again, and up again. This was an eventful race for you.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, go. Yeah, it was hard, honestly, mentally. I mean, like going back and forth for multiple times. No one had a fast card. I was really surprised I got second place. It, I was just driving the heck out of it, trying to get up front. So
It was there was one period of green flag racing that stretched quite a bit. We saw the entire field stretch out. It was pretty obviously obvious that some of the guys were just asking too much of their tires in the beginning of the stints, and it unfortunately it worked for those guys because there was so many yellows in the second half of the race. So it kind of, in my opinion, contributed to it becoming a little bit messy. What's your opinion on that?
yeah, when that really long green flag run went, and I actually like got really loose and about spun it. Like it just destroyed my tires. My tires were overheated. I was just trying to keep it under me, but I basically had to pit halfway through that big stint because I just didn't have any tires, and I knew I was losing time to the lucky dog. So I decided to take tires, screw it, why not, and hope for caution, which came out the second I went down pit road. Lucky me. But uh,
That's just racing in it.
yeah, honestly, that was like that's I think when that caution came out, that's when luck started to turn around. I'll be honest with you, I didn't make a lot of friends tonight because of the moves I'd made. But I mean, when you're fighting that hard and the cars are just so close and everybody's real even with each other, and it's just really big with draft and all that stuff, it's just you really got to make big moves to be good and be up front.
And especially on a track like this with speed so high and the draft being important, and there's not a whole lot of room for give and take on Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, when there was two big wrecks happening in front of me, and it cars went everywhere. I mean, there was not a lot of room like Auto Club like Will's last week, where two guys would get involved and just go down to the apron, which is a long way down. But like here, it's like you either hit the grass or hit the apron. You're going around, and either you're going up the field or you can somehow lock it down. But if you hit the wall, you're going right back out on the track, and it's
Yeah,
just going to cause a big wreck.
yeah, you're basically just a bouncing ball once you get going around.
Yeah,
Uh,
it ends up like that. I was lucky enough to miss a few wrecks, but my luck did kind of run out in the end because I did clip the grass on like I think it was a third caution, third to last caution where that big wreck happened in like the trioval. I was surprised I didn't hit anything, but I was just it was hard. Like this, it was difficult. Tonight was just a difficult night in general.
Yeah, I can second that. It was, and not just for you, but you weren't the only one that had those ups and down. You know, going down the order, going up the order several times. I mean, Jaden Gimbel was one of the guys that had the same issues. Holzer, same thing.
Yeah, I
I
saw.
mean, for a lot of guys, it was kind of a lottery tonight, really.
Yeah, it seemed like more Talladega than Texas to me. I mean, just it's when you get that main draft, you could cook like 29-second, 30-second lap times. While I was running by myself, I was running like 33s, and the guys in front of me were running like 29.8s. It's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's a lot of speed in that main draft with this. I don't know how, but Texas is always draft heavy. It's kind of like Michigan to a certain extent.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah. All right, Kyle. Well, I mean, everybody needs a little bit of luck to make things work. Tonight was on your side at the end there at second place. Not bad at all.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely not. I must have had a golden horseshoe. I
yeah, exactly.
I completely lucked this one out. I was I honestly I thought I had a pretty good run coming through 3 and 4. I thought I could win it, but just right at the end, if that finish line was a little bit more farther down the try over, I may have had a chance. But it's all right. I mean, second place after tonight, I'm happy. So as long as I could just run and be consistent, which I have been, I'm fine with that.
Cool, cool. All right, Kyle. Thanks very much, man. Any love yous and thank yous you want to throw out there before I let you go?
I'd like to thank honestly you. You bring a heck of a broadcast. I really like watching it back. Uh, I I mean I really don't have anything else. I mean, the team I run with, they're always nice guys. I mean I run with some of them in other leagues, and it's just it's cool to come back and kind of like it's kind of like going back and like race with the same guys again. It's cool because you have like that little bit of chemistry with each other.
Cool.
So
That's what makes teams fun. Absolutely. I'm in several teams myself, and that's what makes it fun. Working stuff out together, and then having a good race and fighting for position doesn't matter. So, but I appreciate the kind words you say to me, man. I'm just having a lot of fun with this stuff, and races like these, uh, you're not bored for 1 second. So,
oh yeah, definitely not. I wasn't bored at all. The only time I think I was bored was that stint when I was just trying to ride along. But I mean, you're up on the wheel trying to hustle the thing around. I mean, it's always fun.
yeah,
I think my
absolutely.
love for Texas is starting to grow just a little bit more.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a fun track in these cars. Absolutely. All right, Kyle. Thanks very much, man. Next up is Homestead. We'll see you there. I hope.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping I could get one place better in Homestead. So I just watch out.
All right, we'll prepare, man. Get ready for
Oh
it.
yeah, well. All right, have a good one, man.
Thanks very much, Kyle. All right, Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, I was kind of, your nickname kind of sets me astray here, but I was kind of thinking it was you, Ryan. It was for you too, man. It was a hard fought night. You've been at the front quite a bit, especially in the beginning. Then you dropped back a little bit in that long stint. You looked like you really overdid your tires a little bit and you were struggling to keep the pace there, and then the yellow came right at the good moment, and right at the end you're just way back up there again. How did you do this, man?
I don't know. All the stars just aligned for me. Yes, I was overdriving the car, but I had a feeling it would go into a caution fest near the end, and so the short stint racing was going to be way more important than the long stint racing.
Yeah.
On the longer stretch, I was definitely fading off. Car was plowing, but I just worked with what I had. I was incorporating the brake. I don't know if a lot of guys were doing that or not. So I just tried to just stay on pace and just to hang it out until that golden caution came, and then after that, I really felt like, you know, every 10 or 15 laps with a caution, I could just stay on it hard and keep up with them. And as the track temperature cooled, I could grip it and stick it even harder. So it really just kind of all came together, really, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it was the same for pretty much everybody. I mean, I just talked to Kyle and James, and for all these guys, Jaden in fourth and Austin Reedy in sixth. Everybody had their fair share of issues, I think, and their fair share of good luck to bring it back up to the front again. The only one that really bummed out at the end, being very unlucky, was, I believe, Tyler Werner. He worked his way to the front during the entire race, and then at the end got caught out in one of those wrecks, and ended up 15th. But good night for you, man. It looked like you had a little bit of luck when it mattered. I always say, in racing, nobody wins without a little bit of luck, so that's just part of the deal, I suppose.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't think I was the fastest car out there by any stretch of the imagination. There's some pretty quick guys, and I knew that. And sometimes when you think you're the fastest car, that's the wrong attitude to have going into a race. And I just knew I just wanted to keep it together. And if someone was doing something faster in front of me, I'd try and adapt it and pick it up. But then, as I look at the race results, I was the fastest car on the track with a 28.45. So, for me, like aside from the luck, it's just felt like everything just came together. I felt really good with the car, with fresh tires, and as the temperature dropped, it just is like that was my style of car. That was my style of racing. And Texas, you have to be extremely aggressive. There's no off switch. A lot of guys like to start in the back, but you want to be up the front, stay up the front, run with the front, and figure out what the guys are doing up front.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Absolutely, I agree with you. It looks like this is a race where you just can't let up and think, "Oh, I'll take it easy and save my tires a little bit," because you'll just lose too much.
That's right. That's right. One big thing too is it was a lot of patience because as you have the cars underneath you, the high side definitely you're losing a lot of time, but you just got to wait for the gap and just
Yeah.
breathe and stay on it, stay hard. And for 150 laps, I had my right foot as close as I could to the floor at every green flag moment.
Yeah, I did notice you had your fair share of restarts where you were on the outside in second position.
That's correct.
I think even on the last restart, and every time you were there, it did look like you had a little bit of trouble on that high side, keeping that momentum going, and then once you slotted down, you were able to work your way back up. But that high side just didn't work, did it?
No, no, no. You could suppress the guys and keep them from really advancing. But at the same time, you knew it was a lost position if a car got underneath you.
Absolutely. Ryan, there was one incident where I thought, You came to the inside, and I forgot which driver it was. It was somewhere in the first half of the race where
Yeah,
you
very on.
where you touched that other driver. Do you remember that situation?
Yeah, very well. It was the
Yeah.
car. It was the number 9 car.
Yeah. So you may correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to for any moment at all trying to say that anybody does anything on purpose, because I don't believe in leagues
Mm.
like this that happens. We're all racing hard, and we make mistakes, but it looked a little bit to me like you kind of misjudged the run you had on this guy, and kind of just couldn't go out of it, and he was still there where you didn't think he would still be there. Did I
Well,
did I see that right, or?
no, 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 no. We're reading from the same page. Definitely, I totally agree with you. I came out on the midline on the straight stretch, like very, very start stretch out of two, and I was expecting him to go a lot higher than what he did, and there was a lot of crisscrossing going on before that time, and since it was so early on, I'd definitely say it was bad on my part because I should have been certainly more patient. But at the same time, too, it's like sheep on wolves with all those other cars behind you, and I just knew I had to get going, and that particular number 9 car was slowing me down. And I'm not a fan of driving through anyone either, but maybe he didn't get the car inside, and I didn't hear the car outside. It was too late by that point, and so yeah, if it looks like it's more my fault, I can definitely feel that, or see why you would see that. But like I said earlier on, my right foot was as close as it could be to the floor
Like,
at all times.
absolutely, like I said, Ryan, it's still racing, and I
Mhm.
mean, the last thing I want to do is blame anything for doing anything on purpose, because I honestly don't believe anybody in this league would do that.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then I'm sure the league owners or the league organizers will figure that out quick enough, and they're gone. I mean, so we're not going that way, but. I mean, I race myself, and I know exactly how it feels when you're in that position. You're racing hard. You want to make the position, and
Mhm.
you go for what you think is a gap, and then you 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 sometimes just misjudge that gap, and it's not a gap, but it's still just not wide enough. I completely understand.
Yep.
I don't believe that there's any racer in any league or in any official race at iRacing that can honestly say that he's never misjudged anything like that. So don't get me wrong, man. I look at it as a racing incident, but I appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate you being open about stuff like that, because that's the way we learn.
Mm, on the flip side too, that's one of the advantages of the league with the two faster pairs. Your night's not over. It could have went the other way where I would have been wrecked as well. I mean,
Yeah,
so that doesn't give you a free pass to be aggressive and to make stupid moves, but it does give you that opportunity to get back into the game. And in that certain situation, the number 9 card did get back in the game.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so
I do believe that he used that fast repair in that one, if I remember it correctly. But either way, I mean, that's the good thing about the two fast repairs. Absolutely, I mean, it gives everybody the opportunity to stay in the game and to stay competitive in a race that is just about having fun and racing each other hard for position.
and on that note, it was definitely there was a lot of incidents handed out. Like even in the race results, like I'm the lowest with 4 incidents. The the next lowest car is 0 incidents, but that was 136 laps down. So I mean, for me coming out of this with 4 incidents points, I feel really, really good
Absolutely.
about that.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah, no doubt.
incident points are extremely high because you had to be aggressive. You
No
just
doubt,
absolutely had to
absolutely.
be.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you, Ryan. And I mean, all three of you basically said that in your review of the race. This is not a track where you can take it easy and lay back and save your tires and think you can still be on top at the end of
Mhm,
the race. It just doesn't work that way at Texas. And
mhm,
I also think that this. I race here a lot in Indy cars, and in Indy cars it's even faster. There is not much room for error in these fast races. I mean, this is a fast track. It's all about drafting. It's about it being on the right line, and there's not a whole lot of room for error because the other guys. You can't go into third lane in those turns because then you're too slow. You have to be down
Absolutely.
low with the other guys. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and how do you feel about? Because I always feel that the banking in the turns is relatively high compared to what the main straight and the front stretch are like, and coming off those turns, it sometimes just feels like that back end has no weight on it at all.
Well, I was actually getting loose going into 3, and I don't know why. And none of my other teammates kind of felt that same sensation, but I could hear it and I could feel it in the wheel.
Hmm.
Um, and for me, that like I again stayed on it as much as I could, but I started to actually lift on those longer runs into 3.
Yeah.
Um, in my right rear was actually starting to get worn pretty badly, so maybe that contributed to the slipping into in corner 3. But yeah, with the banking, even it feels like you can run multiple lines, and you probably can with the right finesse. But the bottom line must be where the most camber is in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. It also feels to me like, whenever I race here, it feels like in the turn you feel you can go anywhere. The banking is all the way
Absolutely.
up, but when you get off the turn and when the banking unloads, that's when you get caught out when you're too high.
Yeah. And a lot of that momentum and speed I thought would carry, like even on my qualifying laps, like trying to wind up on the qualifying lap out of 3 and 4 on the high side, it just didn't work for me.
I see. All right, Ryan. Well, once again, man, I really appreciate you talking openly about stuff like that. I mean, and that's the way we learn from what we do. And
Mhm.
again, it was still a fantastic race to watch from my end. It was never dull one moment. And congratulations on a great win. It was hard fought. You gave it your all, and you came out on top. And there's a one little bitty Canadian flag on top of a whole bunch of American flags, man.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that Canadian flag right about now.
I bet you do. All right, Ryan, is there anybody you want to thank or throw some love yous out there before I let you go, sir?
I'll make it short and sweet. Big thank you to Team Gimbal. Those guys have been awesome. Everyone seems to be helping each other out. I'm fairly quiet in the group, but when I need an answer or how someone else is doing something, they're quick at giving an answer, um, and that helps out a lot. Um, and again, thank you very much for putting on the broadcast. You're giving up your Thursday night, and you're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you saying that. All right,
But
Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, have a good night, Mark, and I look forward to seeing you in Homestead.
Absolutely, same here, man. Hope to see you there, and hope you guys can put on a similar show because this is going to be a very hard fought championship if we can keep this up.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
All right, Ryan. Thanks very much, man.
Have a good night, Mark. Thanks.
All right, folks. That'll do it for tonight. I apologize for being a little bit caught off guard there with the time limit ending the race on lap 137. I thought we were going to go to distance, but evidently we were not. Ryan Steenbeckers came out on top. I said he's from Canada. He is putting that little Canadian flag right on top of the list there, and that is obviously always something to be proud of. Kyle Benson, same thing, hard fought race. He's had his ups and downs. I don't think there's any driver in this race that didn't have his ups and downs. Even Hank Caston, who made a phenomenal debut here in this series as teammate of James. He showed what he was made of. He was racing hard and clean. He got caught out with a little bit of bad luck, still brought it home in 8th position. And the same was true for a lot of names further down that order that got caught out and had their chance of winning, but unfortunately, sometimes you don't get all the luck you deserve. And like I said, you sometimes you can't win races without a little bit of luck. So that's just part of what this is all about. So once again, folks, congratulations to Ryan Steenbeckers, Kyle Benson, and James Holzer, your top 3 finishers. I'm sure you can find your favorite driver down the order there on on your screen. This will have to do it for tonight. Next week we're going to Homestead. That'll be our I think they're going to have a October theme there with the trick or treating stuff and all that. So look out for some spectacular paint schemes on some of the cars. As said, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've seen several drivers putting some pink on their cars and their numbers to help with creating some more awareness for breast cancer. We think about all the people suffering from it. We think about all the people working hard to help those patients deal with it, and we give a big shout out to them, folks. This is Short Shift Broadcasting. My name is Mark. We hope you had fun. Be kind to one another and stay healthy. We'll see you next time in Homestead.